right, well, President-elect Obama is about to leave his hotel in Washington, D.C. for some meetings about our troubled economy. But does the president-elect have some trouble of his own at his temporary digs in D.C.? Legend has it, the Hay Adams Hotel, where he and his family are staying, is haunted by the ghost of Marion Hooper Adams. See, Marion was married to Henry Adams, Henry, a descendant of President John Adams, and she is alleged to haunt this hotel where she committed suicide many moons ago. For more now, we are joined by presidential historian Doug Wead, and he is the author as well of, well, if they would roll on it in the prompter, I could tell you. Hold on. There it is. The Raising of a President, the Mothers and Fathers of Our Nation's Leaders. Hi, Doug. How are you?
Hey, great.
All right, so I love this story. This is fascinating. The Hay Adams is a beautiful five-star hotel down in D.C. that lots of people stay at. I have never stayed there, but I've seen it many times. And now we learn that it may be haunted. The place where the president-elect is living right now may have a ghost. What exactly was Marion Hooper Adams' problem?
Well, she went into a Great Depression. She committed suicide in 1885. But the story gets worse because on January the 15th, they're going to move out of the haunted hotel into the haunted Blair House. The Blair House is now 70,000 square feet. It's bigger than the White House mansion. It's eaten out all those other townhouses on that side of Lafayette Square, including the Decatur House. And that was the scene of the first greatest social event in American history, a wedding reception for Maria Monroe. The morning after the reception, Admiral Decatur was murdered, and Paul fell over the city, flags at half-mast, and people claim that they see Admiral Decatur wandering Lafayette Park.
Oh, my goodness. So you got Admiral Decatur at Lafayette Park, and you got this Marion Hooper Adams over
Clover,
at,
they call her.
They call her Clover for short. I don't know why, but that was her nickname, at the Hay Adams. And the thing is, her house was on the grounds where the Hay Adams now stands. Now, what do the staff at the Hay Adams say they have seen with respect to Clover's ghost?
Well, they have fun with it, of course, but the reality is that most myth and legend is rooted in something. And in this case, the Lincoln bedroom stories, a lot of it originates with Abraham Lincoln's premonition of his own death, which is a fact of history. And he shared it with John Hay, and John Hay, his personal secretary, wrote about it in a book, and Lincoln's son, Robert Todd Lincoln, was infuriated. He thought it was too personal. He was embarrassed by his mother's interest in the paranormal. And yet, again, in 1881, James Garfield had those premonitions, called on Robert Todd Lincoln to talk about it, and Robert Todd Lincoln was there at the 6th Street train station in Washington, D.C. when James Garfield was assassinated. So there's a lot of spooky things, and some of it's rooted in...
You know, and they say that this ghost, Clover, you know, she may be unhappy. Allegedly, she committed suicide. Some speculated that she was done in by her husband. It was suicide by cyanide. And supposedly, the staffers at the Hay Adams say that they have seen, this is what they've seen. They've reported someone unseen calling their names, the sensation of invisible arms around them, locked doors flying open, the scent of mimosa mysteriously filling the air. A tearful woman has been heard asking, "What do you want?" Now, if there were any truth to this whatsoever, Doug, do you think that the president-elect would be staying at the Hay Adams?
Well, I'll tell you, I'm not a scientist, I'm just a historian, but if I could get a ghost to sit still long enough, I'd interview them and try to find out.
You know, it's kind of fun to talk about. Who knows whether it's true or not, but they say the good thing for the president-elect is this ghost, Clover, normally only comes out in early December, which is the anniversary of her death, so he should be okay. Doug?
He should be okay.
Thanks for being here.
Cool stuff.
Thans for having me.
I'm afraid of no ghosts. Hey, it isn't just the banks and the automakers line.